Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of the X Podcast. Today, I have on Bri Smith. Hey, Bri, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
It's good. I'm good. It's great to have you on. So, just so everyone knows, Bri is a CPA and a wealth specialist. So, as a financial planner, she works with biz owners, high income earners, and parents on how to build and manage wealth. And we were just talking before I press record. I think this is so essential right now because I work with a lot of new people coming into entrepreneurship, and you see it online. People are making all this like money, like how to become like six-figure, entrepreneurs by Friday, seven-figure entrepreneurs by Monday. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing with your money? Like, do you need to always be running a seven-figure business? And so I wanted to bring on Bri because, she works specifically with biz owners. And I think we need to talk about this conversation about like this, strive for abundance and money, but also like, what are we doing on the back end to make sure that we're cultivating wealth? So Bri, I'm
Yes.
curious, like you work with these business owners, like how did you get into this space? Why is it important for you to work with folks like that?
Well, honestly, I got into this space because I wanted to learn about like how was Warren Buffett the richest man in the world when I was growing up, or Bill Gates. I wanted to know also like how did Trump pay $7 in taxes while I was paying over 1,000? Like he has a one-figure bill while I have a four-figure bill, and I know he had more money than me. So I was just like, how are the rich, the wealthy getting wealthy and staying wealthy and keeping that wealth and not going to taxes and things like that. So it really took me just on a journey to figure that out and start studying them. And it took me to the path where, I've listened to Warren Buffett's autobiography. I've learned about like the sacrifices they've made to get there, but I still wanted to know, the nerd in me needed to know the numbers and the details of like how to still manage that money well and to grow it to what it is, and what kind of investments work or don't work and things of that nature, as well as being able to find the tax loopholes. I always was like, what's the trick? What's the loophole? And so those are the things that I was looking for. I literally said it on a job interview before. I was like, I want to find out the tax loopholes. It's just credits and deductions and incentives, and what does the government basically reward? And so that's what got me started.
Fabulous. So what's one of the big things that you help, like when I think about like the midlife woman entrepreneur, the people that are listening to this podcast right now, they're interested in potentially leaving their corporate job, starting up a business. Maybe they've got a side gig. Maybe they've already left and they're already like year two into their business. What's one of the things that you love helping out with this group?
Helping them with custom financial plans. So usually the people that have taken that leap or are even entertaining it, they have found out that, hey, look, the American dream is dead for me. I got the house, I got the kid, the white picket fence, the dog, 2.5 kids, and I'm not happy. I've climbed the corporate ladder. I have the management role. I have the six-figure job, and I'm still feeling unfulfilled. And so now they're focused on what their dream is and on them specifically as the individual. And so I love to meet with that person and find out, what is it that makes you happy? Like, what brings you immense joy that makes you wake up on Monday happy that you get to do this, instead of dreading it like, oh my God, it's so far from Friday. And so I'm looking at how do we make that shift. And so when they share their dreams and their goals with me, now we have to make a realistic plan on how to achieve them and how to get there. So just because you've made the leap, maybe you're profitable, but you don't know how to manage those profits. When you're working at a job, you have one role. And so you're just one cog on the assembly line to get things done. But when you run your business, you are every single department starting off. You have every role and you are responsible for that. And you may not know all the ins and outs and how to manage the money. I have clients that are making multiple six figures. They have more than enough money coming in, but they're still scared of their finances or don't understand what's going on with their money or how to manage it well so that they can actually build wealth. So I love to sit down with them, get crystal clear on their goals, come up with a plan so that they can manage their money well to build that wealth, and then help them to figure out what investment strategies will work for them and their personality type and their goals that they have so that they can reach their version of success.
And how long does this process take? Like if someone has not been doing anything around their finances, they're sitting there listening to this podcast, they're like 50 years old, but I haven't been doing a lot. Like I'm not 20 something starting my career. So I'm starting this business and I haven't been saving. Maybe I still have a mortgage. Maybe I still have like kids still at home, aging parents that I got to deal with. What are some of the things that you would say, like, okay, this is a good place to start?
So the best place to start is still writing out the goals is step one, and then step two is putting your money where your mouth is with a budget. So I always set the foundation first with all of my clients, because age does not mean that you know these things. And if you haven't been saving, or you still have debt and you don't have a 401k to depend on, or any pensions or any retirements that are already under wraps, then we need to get creative and look at what that process is going to look like. If you're at age 50 and you have absolutely zero in the bank account and nothing but debt, it just depends on the income. So it depends on how long it can take. There are people that are able to reach their goals within a 5 to 10 year frame. Those are extremely aggressive and ambitious people that are willing to put in the work and save up to 50% of their income. So, I mean, they're willing to do what majority, 95% of us or more, are not willing to do. So yes, there is an aggressive route, but then there's a less aggressive route that we can look at as well. So, but I would feel like if you're at that age point, you don't know what's going to be happening. You don't know what's going to happen to mom or dad, how much they're going to be needing to lean on you in these future years. I would highly recommend we take an aggressive approach to just, catch up if we need to. If we're starting at ground zero, we have to be willing to put in the work so that we can have a safety net, because what if health challenges come up? Not just for aging parents, but even for ourselves and things like that. So those are the things I would want to consider to use your health and your money-making ability to the best of your ability right now.
It sounds like, if I haven't been doing anything up until this point, there's still a way, like there's still like hope for me to get kind of back on track. What are some of the things, like in your experience, and I see you kind of sort of chuckling about it, I too, like I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but I think we need to have a little bit of realism that yes, there are people out there that are like landing the plane, they're getting to 7 figures really quickly in their business, they figured out a niche, they figured out an offer to get there, and that's great. But on the flip side, like, are they still running a profitable business? Like, what would you also say to some of those folks that are like seeing like revenue coming in really quickly in their business? What are some watch outs that they've got to make sure that they're, keeping top of mind?
So if I'm talking to the person that is actually seeing 6 to 7 figures of revenue, and not just saying it for Instagram and it's a lie, the first thing I want to do is still look at your profit and loss, because majority of this doesn't happen overnight, and so it takes a lot of work. But now we need to look at profit and loss, because when you start to come into this income, and it may be a higher bracket than you've ever been in before, when you're at 7 figures, we need to mitigate your tax risk. We need to mitigate you having additional fees and things like that, or are you just spending out of control? And so I want to make sure that, one, we take a look at your profit and loss. How much did it take you to spend to make that 6 or 7 figures? And then we need to know our profitability margins. What are they? What else do we need for expansion and growth? What's the 5 and 10 year plan for the business? Where is the business plan? You should have one. So let me look at your business plan. What do you outline as your goals and your directives that you're trying to hit for the next few years? And what do we need to keep in reserves in order to hit those goals? How much are you able to pay yourself? Because you can't take all of it out and then not have anything left for expansion and growth and the other things that you have coming down the pipeline, because you still have to feed the business. The fees and expenses, they're going to keep coming out. And so you need an emergency fund for your business. So what does that look like, as well as the reserves for some of the other endeavors for expansion and growth. And then let's just look at how much did we spend on marketing and ads to get there? Or to get our click-through rates. How much are we spending per lead? How much are we spending per customer? What does that look like? How much does it take for you to acquire a customer? And then we need to see, is there ways for us to get those numbers down? So how can we get more efficient and be able to do more with less? Because while you're at a higher income bracket, we still don't want to have, crazy spending. I want you to be able to have some of that so that you can, again, build wealth, invest, and do other things with it. Do you plan to get a loan or anything of that nature? Because that's going to make a difference of how many deductions and credits and incentives we're going to use on our tax return. Because if you pay $7 in taxes and then you go to the bank and want a loan, they're going to say, no, thank you. I don't want to do a business with you because you only made $100 last year. I see that it says that you made, $500,000, but you spent 493,000 or whatever the case may be. So no, thank you.
Right.
I don't want to give you a loan. I don't think I'm going to get paid back. You don't have enough cash flow. So we need to know those things so that we can plan in advance, because they're going to be looking at your last 2 to 3 years of tax returns to figure out if they want to do business with you that way. So that's just being crystal clear on what are the goals and milestones that the company is trying to reach and what does that require, and then being able to make certain decisions based off of.
This sounds all really good. And what do you think is one of the biggest pitfalls that business owners fall into? Because this is really great advice. Like, everyone should be knocking on your door working with you. And not to say that they're not, but we know out there that there's some business owners that are just kind of like hacking it through, doing it themselves. So what's like the biggest thing that you see, like the biggest mistake that business owners, I know, like going after marketing or advertising, but is there something else that they're missing that's like preventing them from seeing that wealth in their business?
A lot of it is that they don't seek help. A lot of business owners, the first time they may see me is once they're recommended through like another program, through their chamber of commerce or something of that nature. They don't come to an accountant soon enough. They don't come see a CPA soon enough. And I think it makes a difference whether you're seeing a CPA or someone that calls themselves a tax preparer or an accountant. And when you are getting at that higher level of business, and we're talking about 6 and 7 figure businesses, you need a CPA on your team. You don't need to be doing all your bookkeeping on your own. Those are things you're going to make a lot of mistakes if you're doing it all by yourself. And so you can't continue to be every single department and be a solopreneur once you reach certain levels. And so I think being able to get that help from the beginning. The other thing is just like setting up a business bank account. Honestly, that's one of the things that I have to always check with. Do you have a business bank account? Are we still intermingling personal and professional? Like personal and business, there needs to be a separation of that. And so we need 2 different bank accounts. We need one for your business and one for your personal elsewhere. Are you using your business bank account that you do have? Are you using it for personal uses? Your mortgage, car note should not be coming out of there. So there's certain bills like we should not be paying that outside of the business account majority of the time. So it's just like, what's going on with that? So those are the things I first look at is, do you have the business bank account set up? Are you doing any kind of bookkeeping for your records? And have you hired a professional to help you? Even if you're at those beginning stages where you're not at the 6 and 7 figure mark, you still probably need to sit down with an accountant, but maybe even just quarterly, or hire a bookkeeper, an affordable bookkeeper for you to help you to keep your numbers in check. I was meeting with a banker today, and she gave the perfect example. She asked everyone, how often do you check your personal bank account? And for most people, that may be several times a day, or at least once a day.
Right. Yeah.
But then if you also ask them how often are they looking at their business finances, there's crickets. How often are you looking at your profit and loss statement, your balance sheet? Do you even understand what those numbers mean? And so I think being able to even set up quarterly appointments with an accountant, with the CPA, is very important. Having a bookkeeper that's making sure that your records are right, or at least doing the bookkeeping, and then having a CPA review it on a quarterly basis so that you can have someone touch base with you, let you know you're on the right track, or no, we need to try again, so that you have good numbers, good records that you're keeping throughout the year, and you are on the pulse of your business. You need to know how the pulse of your business is going. So I think that's extremely important.
I love it. That was a really comprehensive response. And I think many people are going to benefit from that. So you are also a business owner, and I'd love to know, what's one thing that you're doing this year to, like a goal that you have for your business, like an aspiration that you have for your business that you're really excited about?
So I'm super excited about my signature course, the Financial Freedom Plan, and being able to bring parents and entrepreneurs into that program to really just walk them through how to get control of their money. And so it's a 3-month long, 13-week process where I really take them from everything from A to Z when it comes to finances. Everything you didn't learn at school, everything I didn't learn at school, and I have 2 degrees in this stuff. So it's everything that you need to know to be able to manage your money well. And we go through the goal setting, budgeting, saving, getting out of debt, credit repair with integrity, and investment, how you should invest your money. So investing in yourself as a business, investing in the stock market, investing in real estate, which I feel like is the best way to build wealth, as well. All three are really the best way to build wealth, but I just love real estate. So I go into all of those things and just really break it down and help my clients to create their custom financial plan so that they can be on track to reach their goals. So that's what I'm super excited about.
Where can people connect with you, find you, work with you? Can you give us like a bit of a rundown, and we'll make sure we put this in the show notes for you too?
So I'm on all platforms at Bri Smith CPA. So BRISMITH CPA. But my website is the best way to get in contact with me, to just book a call. Let's chat. It's bdsmithfinancial.com. So B as in Bri, D as in David, smithfinancial.com. So I look forward to connecting with everyone, and please feel free to reach out. I'm friendly. I don't bite.
Yeah, no, definitely get that impression. Bri, I've got one last question for you. If I was to give you a billboard and you could put anything on it and it could be anywhere in the world, what would it say and where would you put it?
That's a different question. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
I think I would put, your dreams matter. Let's make them a reality. And
Awesome.
everywhere. But if I can only choose one place, I'm going to choose New York, the Big Apple. New York, right in like City Square. Like, that's where I would put it.
Awesome. Bri, thanks so much for being on the podcast today. It's been great hearing about how you support your clients. And I know that people are going to reach out to you. It sounds like your offers are right up like what they need. So thank you so much.
Thank you.